Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. My name is Jade. So, happy Thanksgiving week. Today is Tuesday and my gosh, we have been so busy. You know, I feel like I start off every video like that. We're just been so busy, but we are. That's why I don't get to do a lot of vlogs. It's because it's just so hard to just pop up the camera all the time when we're just in the midst of working. But so many things have gotten done. I was able to, so over here in Bella's stall, which I have not taken riding lessons yet, but today, I believe she's going to be coming today at 1:30. So if I'm not busy doing anything around the house and she has time, then I think I'm going to do a lesson. So we'll see how that goes. But over here in Bella's stall, in this area, it gets super muddy. So John was able to get me some wood chips in the back over there, and I was able to scoop out some of the mud and just layer it down with a bunch of this bark to absorb some of the moisture. And I'm going to do another layer because I noticed that it could use another layer. And then I did the inside of her stall area, which is so nice and clean, but she's already pooped in it, so now I have to go in there and clean it out. So many things have been growing in the garden. In the little garden, which I'll show you that garden first, all of the garlic is popping up, the onions are popping up, which I was afraid that they weren't going to pop up. And then the past 2 nights, we've had a frost. And we've been, like the whole entire barn is filled with flats of flowers because it is time to put new flowers in all of the commercial properties. But in the morning time, when they came the first night, Monday, all of the flowers are frozen. And so I was like, oh crap. So I ended up moving, we ended up having another delivery, which that's a whole, so they ended up putting all of the flats inside the barn. And then, I don't know, I thought I closed the doors last night, but John says that they were propped open a little bit. So then this morning, the guys came and they're going to pick up the flowers to go and plant them. But they were all frosted, like here in the front. So I have to make sure that the doors are completely closed, and that way we can plant these in the ground. Because when they're frozen, they just look like they're about to break and they look so brittle. So I don't want to move them during that state. Yeah, so that's what's happening. And then I've been busy doing all kinds of other containers, but yeah, so everything's been growing in the garden. We have a bunch of plants in there. Yeah, all the animals are eating, and the mornings have been so cold. It's, I mean, obviously we had a frost. It was probably in the 30s, and you know, it's so cold at night that I don't want to wake up to feed the wood burning stove. Like, we're so freezing cold that we just have these little heaters in our rooms. But I hate waking up to a cold house, so I was kind of eating my words when I said I can't wait for the cold weather to come. I was just hoping for, like, you know, fall weather. But I'm excited. Today we're going to go to the farmer's market and pick up a few things that we need for Thanksgiving. And we're just going to have a small family Thanksgiving dinner, nothing huge. But yeah, so let me just give you a quick tour of what is happening. Okay, so over here, we're going to start off, normally I start off my vlogs in the big garden, but over here, we're starting off in this little garden. And I notice over here that this mint is taking a little beating from the frost, but the Thai chilies are still doing good. Do you see that? Look at that. Those are still doing really good. And the mint over here is still doing really nice, so that's good. But because the mint in the big garden is all dead. So this little bed is doing really good, but I think it's time. I'm going to cut some of this mint back because it looks pretty rough. And maybe some of this holy basil, I'm going to cut that back and probably give it to the chickens. But yeah, that's how this little bed's doing. So let me show you all of the things that are growing in the little garden, all of the garlic and onion and things like that. So I cannot wait. All right. So here in the little garden, this is that raspberry bush. No, this is a blackberry bush, a thornless blackberry bush that just ran a shoot because I had a container over here with a blackberry and raspberry bush, and it just ran up a little runner. And so this started growing, this little thornless blackberry bush. So I'm going to keep it. It looks pretty hardy. it looks really good. So I'm going to keep it here, maybe train it to, I don't know, I don't want it to get onto the fence, but I'm going to have to figure out some kind of mechanism or trellising mechanism for this, because I know it can get out of control and I don't want it to get out of control. All right, so let me show you everything that's growing here in this little bed. So I have some of this red onion, sweet red onion that's growing right over here, and then over there that's some more sweet red onion, and then all the way over there, if you could see that, let me get you a closer view. There, look at that. Look at all those cute little garlics. They're all growing, popping up, and these were the first ones to pop up, so that's so exciting. I love the garlic. The garlic that you grow in a garden, for me, it seems it's like more potent than the ones that you buy from the store. So I'm so excited to grow this amount of garlic, because I did not grow this amount last year. So this is the first time that I've grown this amount. And I think I have some more garlic yeah, of course, I have some more garlic planted in the big garden as well. All right, so over here in this bed, this is where we planted the yellow onion, and I could already see some yellow onion popping up. And then these two middle beds right in here are the sweet red onion, and then that farthest bed in the back, I put some yellow onion as well, which I could see a couple of them popping up. And then over here on this other side, let me show you. So over here we have our white onion, and I could see a bunch of them already popping up here and there, so that's so exciting. This is my first year ever growing this many varieties of onions. I believe I grew a couple yellow onions last year, but they did not get that big. And so this is my first year ever growing these red onions and the white onions. So I'm so excited to see how they turn out. And yeah, this is going to be so exciting. But everything's pretty much dying out. I noticed that the eggplant, you can see behind me, this is that Thai eggplant. That's kind of dying out. But the oregano, I have some oregano back there, and that's looking really good. But yeah, it looks like eventually I'm going to have to pull these out soon. But I don't have anything planned for these beds. So once I pull these eggplant out, I think I'm just going to amend them and get them ready for the springtime, because I don't know if I want to plant anything else in this little garden. Maybe some flowers. Maybe I could plant some flower seeds, see what's growing for the season. See what I can grow for the season. All right, so over here we have some more onion, and I planted white onion in these two beds, and I already see a few of them popping up. And then these guys right here, these are some red onion I popped in there. So those are doing really good. Plus I have some more green onion still planted there. And we've just been harvesting as we need it, and then we just keep letting it grow. But as far as these eggplants, I think it's time. You know, they took a little bit of a beating, so I think it's time for them to come out. Yeah, I could still see a couple little eggplants here and there, especially on the other one in the back there. But let's go see what is happening and growing in the big garden. But before we go into the big garden, I just wanted to show you all of the flowers. Look at that. I don't know if you could see that. Look at that. It goes all the way to the back of the barn. The whole thing is filled with flowers, which it kind of, I don't know, it kind of freaks me out, you know, because I'm afraid the cat's going to walk on them. I was so shocked that they did not run on them last night, especially if, you know, the barn door was open. John said the back door was open, but the front door was a tiny bit cracked open. So thank God they did not run in there and jump on all the flowers. But let me show you what's happening in the big garden. There's the chickens. They're doing really good. I cleaned out their stall, put that bedding in there. But I think I'm going to cover up one of the windows, because I noticed that some of them are molting, and so they don't have a bunch of feathers. And I think it might be a little cold in there, especially since the frost came a little earlier. It's supposed to be coming in December, but definitely came earlier this year. So yeah, so I don't know. They don't seem to have any issues. They seem to be okay, but I feel bad if they get cold, especially, since I lost 2 of them in the summertime. All right, so let me show you what is happening in the big garden. All right, so over here we have our raspberry, which is the same one that's growing in that little garden. And then we have, no, I keep saying it's raspberry, a blackberry. And then right here we have our little raspberry. And so it's doing really good. And I keep saying, you know, probably hopefully in the next video, I don't think it's a good time to transplant things when it's cold. I believe that's what they say. You shouldn't transplant things if it's super cold out, like during a frost. I'm gonna have to do some more research just to double check. But if it's okay to transplant, then I'll do that and I'll show you how that goes. But if it's not okay, then I'll just wait until the springtime and then do it then. So that's how that's doing. Everything's doing really well. We have a ton of new growth still, and it's looking really good. Nothing's been eating on it. Plus, it's been super cold, so I don't think there's any real big threat out right now. So that's good. So over here in this bed, these are our red onion, sweet onion, and they're doing so well, super good. Then we planted some more yellow onion over there, and I do not see anything popping up yet. So, but I did not think that they were going to survive in the little garden either, because I popped them in there and I didn't see anything. So I think it just takes a little longer because it is a little chilly out, and you know, the days have been shorter. So, but I feel that they're going to pop up since the other ones popped up as well. So now over here is our blueberry bush, and you know, I haven't had any real big success on it. This is my first year ever owning a blueberry bush, so I'm going to have to do some more research. I know they like acidic soil, which I did get some acidic soil and did plant that, you know, put it in some soil like that, but still, I don't know. I think it's the location. I think it's too warm over here, so I might move it, and I know I said this before, but I'm definitely going to move it and maybe give it a nice little trim. I don't know. I'm just going to have to do some more research on blueberries and how to grow blueberries and what to do. Now, I did turn on the water in the beds just to see how everything was going, and this one is busted at the bottom. So I'm going to have to definitely figure out how to fix this one right at the bottom. I could see it leaking still. And but I'm not doing anything into these two beds right now just because I think it's a little late to plant anything. Oh no, I left my succulents out, so some of them got a little frozen. Look at that. Do you see that? How frozen it looks? Oh, poor thing. Look at that. So many little crystals. I don't know if you could see that. Oh, look at that one. Bummer. All right, I'm definitely gonna have to pull these guys in because they cannot handle the frost. Okay, so over here is where we planted our carrots and our spinach. Now the spinach is coming in and it's looking really good. So I am so pleased at how the spinach is looking. Now I'm thinking, I think it might be too late to plant spinach. I should have just planted one more row. I just wasn't sure if it was gonna do good, but that's okay. That's good to know. Now I did plant some carrots here, but I don't see any carrots popping up at all. So maybe it's a little late. Maybe I planted them a little late, but that's good to know. And it's good to know for next time. So I know next time to plant more spinach and to not be afraid to plant spinach. So let me show you what's happening in the garlic bed. So all of the garlic is doing obviously super good. It's just I'm just so pleased with how this is doing. Now, if you can believe it, the tomato sucker, it kind of made it. I am shocked that it's still alive. Yeah, I can still see some tomatoes. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna get any really ripe tomatoes, but I'm just gonna see what happens and let this guy go and see what we get. And then over here, if you could see that, we have the basil, and all the basil has died out. So I'm just gonna cut this all back and just let it decompose into the garden bed. But other than that, this bed is doing really good. Now look at these little guys. These were the tomatoes, seedlings. Obviously they did not make it through the frost, which I did not think they were going to make it, but I was really praying and hoping that maybe we might get some tomatoes. So that's okay. I'll know for next year. All right, so now this lemongrass is doing so well. I'm so pleased at how it has developed and how beautiful it looks, and the structure of it and how wild it is. I just love the way this looks, and I am so pleased and happy with it. So I cannot wait to see it, because I know it's just going to get bigger, and I know I could propagate it and make smaller ones. So I'm definitely going to do that because I like the smell of it, and I just like the way the grass looks. And so not only does it look beautiful, but you can utilize it as well. So that's really exciting, and I'm definitely going to probably cut some, propagate some, give them to some friends, because it's not that hard to propagate the lemongrass. You just have to cut some, put it in water, and it'll grow some roots, and then you just put it into the soil, and just like that. That's how I started off a couple of the lemongrass that are in the buckets. I just took it apart from a lemongrass that I bought at the nursery, and then popped it into some water and created soil, and I just popped it into that other little wooden container. So that's so exciting that you can just make lemongrass and then use it for cooking and teas and things like that. So that's a really good one to have. Okay, so here are our peppers, and obviously you could tell they did not do good in the frost. Yep, I think this is it. I think it's time to take these guys out. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but I am so pleased with how they developed and all the vegetables that I got from all the bell pepper. It's just, it's been wonderful to have. I loved these were by Burpees, and I'm definitely going to plant these bell peppers again because they did not disappoint, and we got plenty of bell pepper from this little bundle. So now let me show you the Jerusalem artichokes and the ginger, which I feel is ready to harvest. All right, so here is the Jerusalem artichoke, and look, it's dried. All the leaves are dried, the flowers are dead, the stalk looks like it's dying out, and then also the ginger below it, it just looks kind of dry, and it looks like I haven't been watering it, but I have, and it just seems like it's ready to be harvested as well. So I think I might be harvesting some ginger soon, and definitely some artichokes, this Jerusalem artichoke. So I'm excited to see what it looks like and to see what I could use it in. All right, so here is our mixed bed greens. Now, I do see some spinach that we planted a while back in that back area right there that is coming through, but it's definitely not as big as the spinach that's coming in the other bed. It's literally practically the same size. So I don't know why that is, because I planted those way earlier than the other bed, and yet they're almost the same size. But everything else, the lettuce is looking really good. We haven't really been eating a lot of lettuce just because, I don't know, I should have planted more spinach. I really like this red one, but we haven't been eating a lot of this green lettuce, and so that's good to know for next year, to not plant things that we are not going to eat. So next year I'm just going to plant more spinach and more of the red lettuce. There's a lot of these things that I've never planted before, and because I want to have a little farm market here on the property, although I want to plant things that I enjoy eating, I just want to plant things that grow well in our soil also, because you know, there's some things that just don't grow well in this area. And so I'm finding that out. But spinach and lettuce are those things that do grow well. I just don't know if there's a market for it. And we're also going to have other outside vendors, like other farmers in our area, that will sell their produce to me, and I could sell it on my market. So that way I don't have to be responsible for so many things, and I won't have to be responsible to grow so many things. I could just actually have other farmers that have bigger farms that are in our area grow for me, and then sell it in my little farm market. So that's my goal. So that way I don't have to be so overwhelmed and worry about growing all of the food in my market. I really want to just kind of specialize on certain things also, so that way it's not so overwhelming, because there's a lot of farmers in our area that specialize in strawberries. So there's a lot of farmers around us that grow strawberries. So, and they're doing pretty good. So I figure, you know what? I could probably specialize in certain things, like maybe tomatoes, maybe turnips, for the different seasons. And that way I won't have to be overwhelmed and won't have to worry about providing every single vegetable for our neighborhood. Because we do have a market not too far away, but it is a ways away. So having a local little farm stand would be nice, and would, I think, benefit this area really well. So in time, once I know how to grow certain foods, how it does in our area, what other people are selling at their farm stands, what sells well, once I figure that out, and once I know that, then, you know, then that's when I'm really going to dive into working on that farm market. But right now, John and I are new commercial landscapers, so we're really figuring out that part of the business, because that's really our bread and butter. And so we're really trying to figure out and grow that business. And so this farm stand and you know, farming and growing food, that's kind of just like a little hobby farm. I really want to kind of grow it and do more on the farm, and have the farm earn money for us. So not only do we get to live here, but we'll actually have it earn some income for us as well, because we do have 4 acres and we could utilize a lot of this land for food and for you know, just for meat for us. So that's what my goal is. So when I plant these things and they don't do well, or maybe we don't eat them as much, I probably just won't plant them again, and just stick with the stuff that I know we're going to eat, and I know that it's going to be, I don't know, something that I'm going to enjoy eating. All right, so let me show you the beans, because the beans are not doing too well, and they said it was frost tolerant, but maybe they're not. All right, so here are our beans. Our beans are not doing well, and they're literally dying. And I thought these were frost tolerant, but I guess I was wrong. I guess I must have read the package wrong. And I was really bummed out, because John makes a green bean casserole every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And yeah, I was hoping to use our own green beans for this green bean casserole, but now I gotta go buy some green beans. So that is a real big bummer. Now I know for next year to grow the beans earlier, and that way I could freeze them and store them, and I'll have enough for, I guess, all winter long. So next year, I'm just so happy that I have this trellis up now. I definitely want to put more trellises up and grow more things like this for next year. So that's a good note to self. Grow these beans earlier. Okay, so over here we have the broccoli, and the broccoli is doing so good. Now I don't see anything growing yet, no crowns, but we did have a little bit of aphids. Since the weather has been getting cooler, I haven't seen any aphids on the broccoli, but I'm so pleased at how the broccoli's looking. Next year, I feel, because we do eat a lot of broccoli, and I could freeze the broccoli as well, and I feel that next year I might do 2 beds of broccoli instead of just 1 bed of broccoli. Now that I know that this broccoli grows well in this area, I think I'm going to do more of it. I wish I got some cauliflower. I'm kind of bummed out I only have 1 stalk of cauliflower, but at least I know that the broccoli is going to do really good. Okay, so here is the butternut squash, and as you can see, it's dead. We don't have any butternut squash. That's such a bummer. I was looking I thought, like, oh, look at, they're developing. No butternut squash this year. So again, next year I have to plant this earlier. I might try this method again and do it in a container, and we'll see how it goes. But definitely plant the butternut squash way earlier, and yeah, that way we can have some butternut squash for the winter time. All right, so here we have our turnips, and they are doing so well. We have harvested a couple of turnips, and they are so delicious. they're not bitter. I love the way the skins look. You know, this one looks pretty good, but you know, when you buy the turnips from the supermarket, they always have these little dings and cuts and nicks and all that stuff, and they just don't look so perfect. These are so perfect. I mean, they would be because they didn't travel anywhere, and I just come right out here and just pull one right out of the garden when I need it. Now, next year, I know that I'm going to plant way more turnips. I'm probably going to do a whole bed full of turnips because I really like the flavor of turnips. And now I have enough inside where I'm going to roast some turnips with some potatoes, and I think it's going to taste so delicious. But yeah, so next year, planting more turnips, probably just do a whole bed full of turnips and see how that goes. Now over here, we have our celery right in the back here. Now, I think the celery needs a little bit more sun, and I think it needs its own bed. So far, probably next year, all these things are going to happen next year. I'm going to plant the celery in its own bed and make sure it has an ample amount of sun, probably in one of the beds on the other side, and go from there, because they're just barely growing. I mean, they're barely look like celery. If I didn't know any better, I would think it would be a weed. So thank God I know that I planted celery there. Okay, over there we have our cherry falls, and you know, there's still a ton of cherry tomatoes on there, but I don't think it's gonna make it, so that's another little side that I'm gonna have to take out and clean it up. And I don't have any plans to plant anything else because I don't think I could plant any more vegetables right now. I think it's going to be too cold. So I'm definitely going to have to look in on a list for our zone to see if there's anything I could possibly start in November and December. I'm going to have to double check. I think it's carrots, but I'm not too sure. All right, so over here is this little grass that my dad brought over, and he said that it's just like a lemongrass, and I don't think this is a winter type of grass. I think this is more of a summer grass, and it's not dead yet. It hasn't gone into hibernation yet. I could still see some green, you know, a little green at the bottom. So what I've been doing is I just leave this little container on at night and protect it from the cold. And so in the morning time when it gets a little bit warmer, I just pull the little lid off and I let it get some sun. But it has plenty of moisture. It's just cold, and I'm just hoping that it lasts through the winter time so I could see it grow in the summertime and see what it looks like. My dad says it's just like, it grows just like lemongrass, but it has a very fragrant smell to it. So I'm excited to see what this is going to look like and if it's going to survive. All right, so the carrots are looking so good. I wish they were big enough where we could have them for Thanksgiving, but they are not. They're still really small. Probably gonna have them for Christmas, but I think next year I'm gonna plant carrots a little bit earlier. I just didn't plant carrots early because I thought that maybe it was just too hot, but I think I'm gonna plant them earlier and let them get a little bigger so we could have some carrots for Thanksgiving for next year. There's a lot of things I want to do different next year in this garden. This is my first fall garden here, so I know I'm going to have way more beds next year because there's so many more beds that need to be completed, and next year is just going to be such a different growing season for me once everything gets fixed. So I'm so excited, but it's definitely a good learning experience for me. So I know that carrots grow so easy here, and I've done them many different ways. So I've planted the seeds into the soil. I've planted seeds in little containers and grew them inside and then planted them into the soil, which a lot of people say not to do. I didn't have any problem with it. I tried it, I did it, they grew, and they were just fine. But I know that it is way easier just to start your seeds in the soil and let them grow naturally that way. There's just no fuss. So there's no transplanting or anything like that. So that's awesome. So these carrots are doing so well. I cannot wait to see what they taste like and how they look and everything. Now over there we have some cabbage, and the cabbage is growing so well. And then we have some Brussels sprouts And then one of the Brussels sprouts that I accidentally knocked down with a hose, because some of these containers I still have to water with the hose. It's growing. Now I don't know if it's gonna do well, but it is growing. So yeah, that's how this little garden bed is doing. And I'm just so pleased how everything's growing. And I can't wait till next year, because I know next year I'm going to have all those beds that I'm going to designate a bed for Brussels sprouts, and so cabbage, everything's going to have its own designated bed, which is going to be so, so awesome. Okay, so over here we have our Myers lemon. Now I was going to take off these 2 branches. Okay, there's these 2 branches right over here. And I was going to clip off these 2 branches, but then I rubbed the bark just to see if they were dead or not. And I just scraped off a little bit, and it was still green underneath this little layer. So I'm just going to keep those 2 branches and see, maybe they might grow some leaves, maybe they might grow some other branches, but I'm just going to keep it the way it is, and hope that it grows some Myers lemons one of these years. I don't know how it's going to do. I had it planted over by the other bed where the basil is at, and it just never grew any leaves. It just didn't get any love or attention. So when I popped it over here, it just started sprouting all this new growth. So this is so exciting, and I cannot wait to try a lemon from this tree. So that is what is happening in the big garden. We are going to be planting a lot of these plants into the commercial landscapes now, and so pretty soon it's going to look pretty empty over here in this little garden, which will be exciting because I cannot wait to get this all cleared out, and I just want to clean up this area. I do think we do need to have a greenhouse though, because if we had a greenhouse, maybe we wouldn't have to worry about the frost. I mean, I know we wouldn't have to worry about the frost. And then we could store the plants inside the greenhouse and know that they're going to be good for tomorrow. But real fast, let me show you some bulbs that I purchased. So I went to the nursery and they were having a sale on some bulbs. So I went through and I found so many different tulip bulbs. They're just so unique. Let me show you. Okay, so I purchased these black parrots. Look at that. This one's called the black parrot. Isn't that so pretty? And this one will bloom late spring. And then I got these tulip Queen of Night. And this one will bloom in late spring as well. Isn't that so pretty? Then I have some of these freesias, and this one will bloom in late spring. See this little guy? He's so sweet. He's now coming up to the house. All right, look at these beauties. This one is Triumph, and this one will bloom in mid-spring. So my plan is to plant these in a flower bed in front of our house. And I think that would be so striking. And this is Princess Irene. And this one will bloom in mid-spring. I did plant some tulips in our fire truck by the street. And last year some guy stopped and took pictures of the tulips. So I'm going to do that again. Look how beautiful that one is. That one is going to bloom in late spring. And these are called Parrot. Parrot? No. Look. Yeah, I don't even know the first word. There you go. How pretty is that? And then, oh, these are purple dance. Look at that. That blooms in mid-spring. Some more freesias. These that have such a great fragrance, and this will bloom in late spring. Oh, these are so cute. Look how cute these are. Oh, look at that. These one will bloom in, let's see, mid to late spring. Aren't those so cute? It has little polka dots on there. It's gonna look so, so adorable. These ones are some white freesias. I think you pronounce it freesia. Freesia. So this will bloom in late spring. And then this one's our Bordeaux Street. This will bloom in mid-spring. How pretty. And then last one is the orange queen tulip. And this will bloom in mid to late spring. How pretty is that? So what a great, beautiful variety. So we have some flower beds, these planter beds in the front of our house, and we have never planted anything in them. They just kind of, I don't know, they're kind of ugly. So I want to make them a little bit more beautiful. Matter of fact, the front of our house has zero landscape at all because, you know, we're new landscapers. And so I really want to make the front of the house look really pretty, like a beautiful park. And that's my goal also with the farm market. Is just to beautify our property. That's my goal, is to make this place beautiful, because before we became landscapers, you know, we were just always work, and we wouldn't spend a lot of time working on our house. We were just really working and going out to work and coming home, and that was pretty much it. So when I started gardening, and that's when things started changing. When I started gardening and found the joy in gardening, oh my God, that was a game changer for me. I never planted a seed a day in my life. I never even knew what that was like up until 3 years ago. And now that I see the beauty in it, and I see how things are growing, and you know, it doesn't take much. It just takes very little effort to make things grow. You just have to pop it in the dirt, and a lot of times Mother Nature will do the rest. You just need to add some water to it. But usually it just kind of just does its thing. So that is so exciting, you know, when I started that journey of growing things. So yeah, so I'm really excited to, you know, plant these tulips, beautify the house, grow food, encourage other people to do it. It is not hard. Anyone can grow food. You just need to take the time and patience to do it. You can just start off with a little packet of seeds and go from there, and you'd be surprised of what you can start and what you can grow, and what it tastes like. So today I'm going to head out right now to the farmer's market and buy some produce, and then come back home and hopefully take a writing lesson. So maybe I'll see you later taking a writing lesson, and yeah, and go from there and do some little chores around the house. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on the writing lesson. I'm not going to end this video quite yet, and maybe I'll see you back in just a little bit. Alright, so it is the next day, and it is such a chilly morning. But we didn't do any writing lessons yesterday, and we just ended up going to the farmer's market and, you know, just started shopping, get sidetracked. But then I totally forgot. Look at this. To show you this. Look at that. So, yeah, one of the guys ran into this. John said he parked it too close to the chicken coop, and so they really knocked that down. And then also when the orders of flowers came in, the delivery guy, he ended up driving into the garden, and not driving into it, but knocking down another post. So now I have to do 2 posts. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hopefully have John do it. But I don't know how long that's going to take. So now let me show you this other post. And this post, he just ran right into it. And they felt horrible, and they're going to replace it. But, you know, we have to do the work, and that's just going to take time because the garden's not even completely fixed yet. But look at that. What a bummer. That just sucks. So that's just more things to do on my list. And it is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, so I am going to go inside and prep a bunch of stuff. I was just out here feeding all the animals, checking on the garden, and making sure that everything's looking okay. And I know that I am going to be harvesting the ginger, and I'm probably just going to harvest it tomorrow on Thanksgiving, because we don't have Thanksgiving until the evening. And I'm just going to prep a bunch of stuff, and it's just, you know, family. People might just be stopping by here and there. But yeah, so that is what is happening. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm hoping that everyone has a wonderful, safe Thanksgiving. And thank you so much for watching. Take care, be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.